All right. How are we doing? Good. So the funniest part of that story for me is I was having coffee with a brand new friend that had found me on the internet, started following me, loved what I was doing, and literally DM'd me and was like, hey, I hope this isn't weird, but can I fly to Texas and spend a couple days with you? And so we're having coffee, and she's sitting at coffee going, you're so famous, everyone knows you. And I'm like, Michelle, seriously, no one knows me. Like, no. And then Lisa walks in and is like, are you Kyle Draper? And so it totally backfired. And what I said was still true. No one knows who I am. But the one person that did happened to be the one that walked in. And what I love about that story is that's how powerful social media is. Because the perception that Lisa had of me was more important than the reality of who I was. This is what most of you are missing. Because you're living life, you're doing business going, nobody cares. I'm not a big deal. Nobody wants to know what I think about real estate, about mortgage. And in the grand scheme of things, you're right. Nobody cares. Right? Like nobody woke up today going, oh, what social media tip is Kyle going to share today?
No, some people did.
And there might be 4 people that actually think that. But in general, nobody thinks that way. But when somebody buys what we offer, they're typically going to give their business to who they saw last. And so this is why what we're going to talk about today is so important. And the way we're actually teaching this, right? Stop quitting on your marketing. I've never taught this before. Me and Tommy and Mike, these 3, Mike, Tommy, we wrote this together because they make up my marketing team. And so they do all the things that for years I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want anything to do with that. A CRM, how do you spell that? What does that even mean? Right? Like I wanted nothing to do with it. And so a lot of this class is going to be teaching y'all through my struggle so that you can see firsthand like where I failed, because I was great at just pushing out content, but I had nothing in the back end that was captivating people, keeping them tied in, showing me data, collecting information. And so every room I went into, people would be like, oh my gosh, where did you come from? Where have you been all my life? I love you. But then because I was not consistent with the follow-up and with the back end, we'd leave this restaurant and you'd never think about me again. Maybe 2 years later, you're like, oh, that guy from Gillespie's? And we probably could have worked together over that time, but I wasn't top of mind. And so what we've watched people do, and at some point Tommy's going to come up here because he's actually teaching this with me, and Mike will probably chime in from the peanut gallery with different things. But our story is this. They're from Wisconsin. Mike and I met in a coaching program almost 7 years ago now. And it was at that time that Mike said, Kyle, you're special. And I want to be the guy that pushes you out there. And so the first event I ever did was in Appleton, Wisconsin. We had 12 people in the room. And there was a part of me that was like, what are we doing here? And I'm sure there was a part of Mike that was like, what are we doing here? And then the next year we had 100. And then the next year we had 150. And we got to go to a Packers game, which was a really big deal to me. And now, for really just about 6 months, these 2 have been running my back end. Because most realtors, and do not get mad at me when I say this, you don't run a business. You're a salesperson. But you're not a salesperson. You're a business. And so you're doing all this effort, right? I've never met a realtor that sucked because of a lack of effort. I've met a lot of realtors that suck because of a lack of intentionality and direction. It's usually not an effort thing. And so now what I'm learning is like, I just got a new client, what was it, Friday? Because of our email campaigns that they run that I didn't have anything to do with. And I don't know about you guys, but I really like making money by doing nothing. I'm a huge fan of that. I'm a huge fan of going to sleep at night and waking up to an email in the morning of somebody wanting to book me to speak at an event. Yeah. And my wife loves hearing, hey, I think I'm about to get paid to do another speaking gig. And it came through at 2 a.m. while we were sleeping. She might have been feeding the baby, but I was sleeping. This is the power of what we're going to talk through today. So we want today to be very conversational, right? This isn't a preaching session where y'all shut up and listen. We're the experts. Like, we want this to be very collaborative. You have questions, voice them. You have concerns, voice them, because we want to have real life conversations and we want you to leave here changed. We don't want you to leave here just going, thank you, Lisa and John, for making today possible. And then tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and you're the exact same as you were today. We want you to leave here with a desire to truly grow and be better and get uncomfortable. And that's what we're going to do. So, Tommy, you feel free to come up here whenever you want.
I'll come up. How about now?
And just join me up here.
Thanks for having me.
So I've been telling them all week, I don't let people come on stage with me very often. So, you know, big shoes to fill. But here's the deal. We need people in the back ends of our lives that know the things that we don't know. And this is what today is all about. And so the different things that we're going to talk you guys through, all right, we're going to talk about why all of this matters. We're going to dig in to Google My Business. Who has your business set up on Google? So I didn't even have one of these until we started doing this intentionally, before summer.
Right.
And now it's already creating traction for me. It's unbelievable. So we're gonna talk through that. We're gonna talk about how do we create content that matters and that people want to see, and not just like, oh yeah, I have a drip campaign. What's on it? Houses. Because here's almost every realtor's strategy. Once I sell you your house, I put you on a drip campaign to show you more houses. Even though you just bought one. This is what we do. Right? Oh, no, you don't understand. I'm different, right? We do a newsletter. What? What's on your newsletter?
Houses.
Houses. Right? And so that's incredible. You're already doing better than most. And then we're also going to jump into how do we ask for reviews? Because what I've found, guys, I've always been afraid of asking for reviews until we started doing this differently. And now what I'm finding is repeat business comes by simply asking past clients to go review your present business. It's unbelievable. And it's such a simple ask. It's not a begging ask. And so we're going to talk through that. And then we're going to finish up with talking about, like, what does it look like to create a system that is working in the back end for us. And we're going to leave here, in my opinion, with a lot of knowledge that we didn't have before, with good food in our bellies. And hopefully we're going to laugh some, and we're going to see what happens. But I wanted to share, before I cut Tommy loose on the nerdy smart stuff, the underlying reason why all this matters is because of what's called social proof. Okay? Social proof is this. We don't trust anyone anymore. We don't have to. We can go, that's not true. There's no way if your best friend calls you and says, oh my gosh, have you been to the new taco place? It's incredible. What are you going to do?
Go Google it.
You're going to Google it. Maybe a couple of you, the weird people, you're like, I'm going to get in my car and go there. But most of us, because there's so much data here, it would be dumb and ignorant to not just go boop, 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 taco place. And if I start reading 2-star reviews, there was a hair in my beef taco. I watched the manager cuss out a family of 4 that sent their food back. Now, in this moment, as we process this information, who's the idiot? Our friend or the internet? Our friend. How crazy and backwards is this? When we bought our last vacuum, what did we do? We jumped on Amazon and we started reading reviews. And these people could have been in prison. And in their hour of internet time a day, they're like, check this out. We're going to put 1-star reviews all over Amazon. And all of a sudden, I'm buying the vacuum because of some stranger's opinion on the internet. The reason I tell us this is because this is exactly what's happening to us. Somebody can go, oh, you don't know Lisa Walter? She's the best title rep I've ever known.
True.
You'll absolutely love her. She's hilarious. She has 3 crazy kids that are the cutest thing you've ever seen. And if that was said about her, and then I couldn't go find that about her,
I'm not even real.
that's not real, right? Red flags start going off everywhere. I was experiencing this. I have all this content on social media. Then you Google me and you don't have a business page on Google? That's a red flag. So what I want us to understand is I don't teach this because I love it. I actually hate it. This will probably be my least favorite class I ever teach. But it doesn't make it. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day. But just because I don't love it, it doesn't make it less powerful. Because this took me a long time. Mike could tell you about the 7 years it's taken me to finally start listening to him. Because I was the content guy. I'm the video guy. You know, that's my lane. And we can't pick a lane anymore. We have to be present in as many places as possible. Otherwise, we won't be legitimate when people talk about us. And so one of my favorite things to say is lead preservation over lead generation. Because every realtor I talk to wants to go, I need more leads. I need more leads. I need more leads. More leads. More leads. I need more leads. And as I begin to pick that apart, you really just mean you need more business, but you've been trained that more business comes by way of more leads. That's what you've been trained. When I'm sitting here going, okay, so you want to do 20 deals this year, but you have 1,000 Facebook friends. Tell me again why you need new leads? Well, it's because you've screwed over all of those people because you suck at posting stuff. And so you feel like you need new people that don't know how bad you are to give you a shot. You know, the truth is painful. If we would truly create value for people, it would be unbelievable what happens in our business. And the last thing I want to say before I turn it over to Tommy for Google My Business is one of the dangers of only being present on social media. And we're seeing this with TikTok right now. We've had conversations about Facebook and Instagram. The government could come in at any moment and say, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, like they've got too much power. They have access to too much data. We are shutting it down. And there could be a day where we wake up and Facebook is gone. Instagram is gone. TikTok is gone. And then we go, how am I supposed to, right? So the power of what we're going to talk about today is it is now always my goal to say, hey, Jill, I love that you follow me on Instagram and I follow you and we're friends there, but I'd really love to get you into my email database because now I own that data. No one can take that from me. And so this is why not just having, because everyone I know has a CRM, but 1 out of 5 of those people actually do anything with it. Right? We all have one. I've given money to plenty of them over the course of my time in business, but I've never been intentional with it until the last 6 months. And so where we have to start, Tommy, right, is with Google My Business. And there's really 3 big phases to that.
3 big phases. So by show of hands again, who has a Google business profile?
It's about half.
Got set up by me.
Oh, good job.
This is awesome.
Yo, I did not even pay him to come talk about this. Like, this is my big soapbox.
Well, thank you for having me. I came all the way from Appleton, Wisconsin for this. So Packers didn't show very good yesterday. Sorry about that.
No, we're okay.
So where's all my guys in the room? This is kind of estrogen heavy. Wasn't planning all the estrogen in the room. No, this is good. This is good. Okay, Google My Business. Why you need to have a Google business profile is you have to be found. And it's free. That's one of the best parts about it. It is free. You can get really, really great and get a lot of traction for free. Your Google business profile is something that people are they're gonna look for, real estate agents near me. And I know in real estate, it's a tough business. I'm a real estate agent in Wisconsin, and I know it's tough. There's someone that's got, 750 reviews, and they're in the whole 9 yards. You can only lift where you can stand. I mean, some people pay big checks to get up to the top of the list. You just have to do it organically, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but Kyle's right. Real estate agents want leads. I know that. But they really don't want leads. They want closings. They want contracts. You don't want a seed. No one wants a seed. You want an ear of corn that you can eat. And I get it. I totally get that. I've been there. But while you're looking for that, your circle of influence right now is pretty immense. And there's a lot of people with a little bit of energy that will focus their eyeballs on you, and your Google business profile is absolutely one of the best ways to go about that. As you get reviews, you're going to start popping up in the rankings. You're going to start moving up. So positive reviews is one of the best predominant ways to move you up in the rankings. And we're going to talk about some strategies for asking reviews later. But how many people here don't want a 5-star Google business review? How many people here do not want one?
It's good. 0. Great.
How many people here are willing to pay money to somebody to give you a 5-star business review? Oh, there's agents in Wisconsin that will give a $50 bill for it. That's worth $50 to me.
Is that illegal?
Kind of.
Down here?
Are we going to get technical? 100% it is. But once you get, it's illegal to say I'm going to pay you $50 for that review. It's not illegal to give it to them afterwards. Give them a good. It's not illegal to do that. It's illegal. It's in a gray area to gatekeep. Say, hey, what kind of review will you give me? Okay, that kind of thing. But that just goes to show you what a 5-star review is worth to an agent in their business. Please, sir.
Is it actually illegal, or is it just against policy?
Okay, so illegal, dead bird, I don't know. I mean, is someone going to come and are the Texas Rangers going to come after you for that? No, you're not going to get cuffed and stuffed. But I know that if you really go into Google's terms of service, somewhere it says that we deter that kind of thing.
But the strategies we're going to talk about in a little bit aren't in the gray area.
No. We're not going to go into any
They require zero exchanging.
No, there's no mafia hits
value.
involved here. There's nothing involved in that regard. But I just wanted you to know what that is, what you're doing, what that's really worth. And when you get a positive Google business review, how really elated and what kind of backflips and cartwheels you should be doing, because that's a big deal. That stays with you forever. I know there's a lot of people who say, well, I need a Zillow review. I need this, and this. That rug can get pulled out from underneath you. That could get sold. They could go out of business. All these different things. Please.
And Zillow owns those reviews. You not own them.
Right.
So if you want to take them to your Google, you can't.
Well, you can,
I mean, you can.
but we're going to tell you how to do it in a little bit.
We're going to have a strategy.
It takes a little bit. It takes an extra step.
It's not as painless as you would like it,
very simple
but you
step.
have the
It's a copy and
absolutely right
paste
opinion that, right, wrong, or different, Google is the only place that you can kind of call your own, because Google needs you to do what they do. I mean, you're an integral part in it. Please.
So would you all these companies are always trying to reach out to you, telling you, post your reviews here, and we'll get you more reviews and everything like that, but it's not Google. So I think that's worthless.
Well, nobody's going to do anything for you for free.
Yeah.
They want your money. I mean, it's a money grab. I'm not going to lie to you. And to wholesale say everybody's bad, that's not fair. It's like saying Packer fans are bad. You don't know that for sure. Right. But at the end of the day, you have to look at are they really being genuine? I really want to help you, and I'm going to do. They're not doing it for community service. Well, that's a big deal. Nobody's ever going to. When was the last time you had somebody say, "I'm going to Zillow you"?
Never.
Correct. Probably less than never. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But Google you, it's going to happen, and they're going to start doing. You're not going to start your search someplace else. Your search is going to be on your search bar. Bam. That's how it works. That's how the game is played. And right, wrong, or indifferent, you have to play by the rules that are in front of you. And again, I don't want to say that, that person that contacted you is all bad, but I know they're not doing it for community service. And I promise you, your money could be better spent other ways. Because there's better ways to take your audience that you have, you have probably lots of eyeballs already on you. How do we build that traffic and turn them into ears of corn and not just little seeds? Because that's what you ultimately want. Ultimately. Okay, so we know the why. Now, did anybody realize that your Google Business Profile, people can message you on it? Okay, see a lot of yeses. If we have,
I didn't know 6 months ago when we start doing this.
Well, Google has actually changed it, and now your Google Business Profile is actually part of Google Maps. So there's a lot of Google's repositioning. They're trying to build that up, and as real estate agents, you now have another communication channel, like you needed another communication channel. Because there's so many different communication channels. You got text messaging, you got phone calls, you've got instant messenger, you've got Facebook Messenger, you've got
WhatsApp,
you got Instagram, you have all kinds of stuff out there that you can communicate. So you're kind of in a communication hell, to be perfectly fair.
Preach, yes.
Okay, hallelujah. We're gonna have like a couple hallelujahs. Woo!
Welcome to the South.
Praise the Lord. Okay. Boy, you people down here have some churches that are pretty outrageous. I mean, there's some big churches in Appleton, but I'm pretty sure the church in Appleton would fit in the gym here in Dallas. It's unbelievable. Please.
Is there any, honestly, benefit to doing the Google Messenger? Does it affect your ranking? Does it have you?
It does, and here's why. Google knows how quickly you get back to people. Now, you can turn it off, but why would you want to turn off a method of communication? It's kind of like if you're going to run a radio commercial, you want to go to where your people are, and you're not going to say that not all your people are going to listen to country or Western or pop or rock, whatever it happens to be. You really want to flood the radio waves on all different channels. This is just a different channel, and you don't know where that ear of corn is going to communicate with you.
So how does the Google Messenger come to you? Someone says something to me on Google Messenger. How do I?
It would come to your email. You would see it show up in your email, and there's tools you can have it actually pop up on your phone. It can come into Google, because it ties also into, how many people here have a Google Voice number?
I used to.
Okay. It's a great way to have a burner number if you want to have somebody who you don't have to give away your personal cell phone number. But again, that's kind of anti-real estate. But some people want to do that. Everybody wants to be communicated in different fashions. I don't want to tell you how to be communicated, but everyone has a different hustle, and that's perfectly fine. But they tie the Google Messenger and the Google Voice tie in together. So when you go into your Google Business page and you message it, it would come into Google Voice, and there's a Google Voice app on your phone, and that would all tie in together.
Well, and a big piece to all of this is our goal is never to just give us more things to do, right? Because who's sitting around going, man, you know what's wrong with my life? That I'm just not busy enough. So the beauty of the Google Business Suite is you can set up automation all throughout it, which is what makes it powerful, is that it's out there working on your behalf, not just another task for you to have to remember to work on. So that's the goal.
That is the goal, but to be perfectly fair, this isn't going to be a pour water on it and it's just going to turn into a big, we're not going to get a sequoia out of this. I mean, you got to nurture this. This is something that has to be done. So either you're going to do it or your people are going to do it. Everybody needs to have people. Do you guys have people? Having people are the best things ever. The best thing ever. You got to have people. I guess I'm Kyle's people, so that's...
You are my people.
So that's why we're behind the scenes here.
So I want us to jump in, Tommy, and talk about the nurture system to all of this stuff. Right? This is what I see realtors being the worst at, because nurturing takes time. Nurturing does not yield instant results. And again, because most realtors don't run a business, they're just a salesperson. They wake up every day going, what can I go hunt and kill today? Versus, what can I go nurture so that months from now, weeks from now, years from now, I wake up to opportunity, as opposed to always having to go put my running shoes on to chase opportunity all the time. Right? So the power of this, well, actually, before we even jump into this slide, what we now do for almost 4 months maybe,
Yes.
we send out an email on my behalf every other day to my database. Every other day. And it was really sad because we were talking through numbers this morning at a Starbucks. And Tommy's like, yeah, only 1,500 people have unsubscribed from your emails. And I'm like, what?
I didn't want to make them
How-
sad. We were just going over numbers, and it just slipped
How
out.
dare those people not want what I have to offer, because my stuff is packed full of value. The reality is, though, which Mike was very quick to bring up, is wouldn't you want to know who's not for you are now, as opposed to like you really don't do anything because you're afraid of that, and you end up with a bunch of people that don't give two craps about you already? And so we're sending it content out every other day, and the strategy is all about nurture. It's all about these two questions over here. For you guys, what do you get asked the most about real estate? And then for mortgage, switch that out. What do you get asked the most about mortgage? And then the second question is, what are you surprised that people don't already know? And we'll send y'all these slides too, if you want to have them.
Everybody's taking pictures.
So,
If you scan, you'll get it.
yeah.
If you scan, hint, hint.
There'll be a scan at the
Hint, hint.
end, and you can get the, or well, yeah, at least I'll have them too to send them to you. So think about these two questions. What do I get asked most about real estate? So let's ballpark this out loud. In a typical transaction, Jill, you get asked how many questions from that client through the course of the transaction? Yeah, like let's ballpark it with a number.
Like 25.
How many
25.
questions you get in a transaction? How many questions do you get asked from a potential client, or what during that
Sure.
your client during that transaction?
Okay, so Jill is saying 25. She did say 50 before, but then she settled back down. So is 25 too low?
Yes.
Are there more and less questions based on a buyer versus seller?
Yeah.
And first-time buyer.
First time could be 100, right? Okay, so now with the second question, what am I surprised that people don't already know? How many times over the course of these transactions do you say something that you just treat as common knowledge, and they go, whoa, 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 whoa. Can you say that again? Tell me what that means. How often does that happen? So here's what's interesting to me. John alluded to it. Lisa alluded to it, right? He was like, God, they got 400 pieces of content that they'll give you to post. That's more than one a day. Why do they feel the need to do this? Because you guys walk around thinking, I don't know what to talk about. Right? Do we all think this? But isn't it interesting that I just gave you two questions that can easily make you a list of 100 questions that you've been asked or get asked frequently? What should each of those questions become? A video. See, John, video's not dead. So each of those questions should become a video.
And why should it become a video? Why does it need to become a video?
I mean, only a million reasons. Which one are you getting at?
I'm getting the fact that ultimately, in your industry, you want to differentiate yourself from every other real estate agent that's around. And I promise you, by picking up your cell phone, which is the best video camera you have, and answering these questions in small little 30, 45, or 60-second snippets, you'll immediately vault yourself above everybody else. Immediately, please.
That's what I was going to ask. Should it be a reel or a short?
Both.
Oh, let's go here for a minute.
Let's go. Let's do
Okay.
it.
But Kyle,
So-
but Tommy, I hate the way I look and I hate the way I
Lisa,
Stop it. Just do it. Just do it.
Last one. Mike, why would I ever do TikTok? I'm going to stick with Facebook Live.
We got cheers when I said TikTok could go away. We got cheers from this section. They cheered for it. Okay. So let's talk about should it be a reel? Should it be a short? Which is a reel?
What's the difference?
Right?
We got to talk about the differences.
So let's
here.
vote. Let's just take a poll real quick. Who feels like, based on what you know and what you've been taught, that you should always default to a short video?
Always?
Or a long video? Most often. We're not going to play the
Short form versus long
short or
form.
long. What would we prefer?
Well,
What if I told you that you were wrong by defaulting to short?
Because I'm so chatty and I'm always on.
Right? So
So why is it that all the media are going to the shorts?
Well, so
Yeah, there's more to the answer.
there's multiple truths happening that we have to unpack. There's always going to be, right, like, there's realtors that could say, oh, the best clients are first-time home buyers. Well, that's an opinion. You just said it as fact, but that's an opinion, right? Because another realtor's allowed to think that first-time home buyers suck, right? And you're both right. And you're both wrong to the other person. So when it comes to video, right now, the greatest chance to get reach, to get plays, to get communication, comments, shares, all that good stuff is typically coming through short-form content, right? Which was under 60 seconds, then Reels expands it, and then it's 90 seconds, and then it's 2 minutes, and then it's always changing.
TikTok's 5 minutes now.
Well, and some accounts can go 10 minutes on TikTok, right? So all of these companies, they all see what's going well on the other ones, and then they all want that on theirs. And so what we've now really ended up with is every platform over time becomes the same. They all become the same, which benefits us right now. And so my favorite way to do content is long form to short form.
Yes.
Okay? Because short form content, here's what it requires. It requires a certain level of creativity for you to tap into. And how many of you would say that most of the time you do not feel creative? Right? I don't feel that way. People all the time are like, man, you're so creative. I don't ever feel creative because that takes a lot out of me, right? So I'm never going to be the guy that can do the pointy videos on TikTok and Instagram. And we could have a whole nother class about why those are stupid and they bring very little value into what you're trying to accomplish. But that's a whole nother thing. What you guys are the expert of is you are an expert educator. Y'all just said it. You answer questions for a living, right? You're a problem solver. And so what I've learned in my years of doing this is if I can take Jill and just go, Jill, let's pick 4 topics that are going to take you 4 to 8 minutes, and then we're going to record those on video. And some of you went, 4 to 8 minutes? Oh my gosh, that's an eternity. But we could go have coffee for 2 hours, and you could answer questions the entire time if I keep asking them, right? So the problem is we've been taught that we've got to do like sexy, cool content. And so when I say we need to do a video about earnest money, your brain goes, that's not going to go viral. Since when did viral ever help a realtor do anything? Unless you're like, well, you like work in Hollywood. Maybe that will benefit you in Hollywood. But in Richardson, Texas, there's really zero reason to go viral other than to feed your ego. So if you will educate, now, what's the second largest search engine on the planet? YouTube. Who's not using YouTube because all they do are short videos? A ton of people. And so now we've got a 6 to 8 minute video that's now positioning you as an expert on the second largest search engine on the planet. Who owns YouTube?
Google.
What are we just talking about?
Google.
Oh my gosh, are we cooking with grease right now or what? So the power of this is we educate first. This adds value to people. We do it as our authentic selves. We're not trying to be sexy, cool, extra funny. We're however we are. Then from those long videos, we rip those into short videos. And so now from one 6-minute video, you now just gave yourself 5 videos. So this is how, like I was at an event with Gary Vee a few months ago, and I say with him, that's made me sound much cooler than I am. I attended an event that Gary Vee spoke at. Okay, let's call it what it is.
I was in the peanut gallery.
We will speak at an event together one day, but it hasn't happened yet. And so he told a room full of lenders, how many times a day should you be posting? He said 15. Now, before we lose our lunch, that was across all platforms, but what he meant was you should be posting 3 times a day across 5 different platforms for 15 posts a day. Well, how does that happen? That doesn't happen by turning on the camera 3 times a day. That happens from he teaches for 60 minutes at a conference, and then his team rips that thing up into 50 different videos. Right? So this is the beauty. Well, and guys, this is why I brought my team to today, because no one is capable of doing what we want to do by ourselves. It's not possible. But my team can't do what I want without some of my help. Because I have to provide enough to them to be able to go make it look awesome in the background and keep me engaged there. And so this is a huge ecosystem, which is why we finish with really, the system of this. But did that answer your question?
I mean,
That's always the most powerful way to do it.
The one thing you have to get out of your mind is everyone thinks, that's really dumb, no one's going to want the answer. And I promise you, there's plenty of people that want to know the answer that are actually looking for that answer. And you can go into Google and you can actually look at what questions people are trying to find.
Right.
And so you just have to get out of your mind. No one wants to know this answer about earnest money. You know what? You share that, someone's going to go, wow, thanks for that content. That helped. I didn't know that. I promise you that will happen. As I stand here, people will come to you and say, I didn't know the answer to that. Thank you.
Well, and Tommy, we have to remember what we're here to do. You're trying to sell more houses. Does one house at a time make you pretty good money? Right? Like if you keep selling one after another, you're making pretty good money, right? So we don't need the virality of anything to happen. If John does a super detailed video about a certain aspect of a policy, his brain is going to go, dude, nobody gives a crap about that.
He does it anyway.
Nobody wants to watch that. But here's what I want us to understand. I could do a cutesy fartsy video. Like I've been doing a few videos about Chick-fil-A, and that's a whole nother story. And they get crazy views.
Your fanny pack.
But I don't sell Chick-fil-A. I don't make money off of Chick-fil-A, right? I make money off of doing my job. And so I would rather 30 of the right people watch John's policy video, because guess what? If they watched a policy video, they're probably searching for a new provider. They're searching for new opportunity. And so I can do so much more with 30 people intentionally than I can with 30,000 people that happen to watch me put a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich in my mouth. But our brains need to be told they're great, and our egos are in this, and we want people to think we're cool and powerful and amazing. And so this is why we can agree in this room, but then you're going to go back out there and go, what do I talk about? Because you can't get outside of the filter of what's going to get views, what's going to get seen by people, and that's not what we need. You already know more than enough people for this to work. We just have to retrain our brains to see the power that happens when we get consistent inside of a system, and it's a game changer for us. God, I was telling them this morning, it makes me so mad that we're now beginning to see these results 4 or 5 months into all the stuff we've been doing, when Mike's been trying to get me to do this for 6 years. And it infuriates me to think, where would I be if we were in if we were in month 72 of this and not month 6? And it drives me crazy. And so the reason we got so excited about doing this event today was because we want today to be your day one of a really excited future for your business. When you finally start saying yes to the things that you've been Heismaning, right, lately, like I was, and really taking this serious. Do you want to add anything to the nurture piece?
I just want to say, and I used this quote yesterday, I think, when we were watching the Packers blow it.
We actually left, but while they were still winning, so there's that.
Because we knew it was just going to fail. We just knew it was going to crumble. It's the start that stops us all. We all have good intentions. I mean, this room, you're all thought leaders. You are. And you're all the smartest people in the room. It's the video that makes you the smartest person in the room without actually having to say I'm the smartest person in the room. No one wants to hear, hey, I'm the brains of the operation here, except my wife. She says I'm the brains of the operation, and I have to understand that, and I do. But through video, you now become the smartest person in the room without saying it. And I promise you that with a strategy of doing it, it will happen. It absolutely will. And you don't need thousands of people in your database to do it. I mean, somewhere it said that, if you have over 200 people in your database that you communicate with, that could potentially be $100,000 worth of revenue to you. So it doesn't take a lot of names. It just takes that frequency of hitting those names.
Right. And remember, guys, you get to be in this super unique business where every adult on the planet can be an actual client or a referral partner. Right? You're in one of the few industries where every adult on the planet can be one of those two things at all times. But most realtors spend all their time talking direct to, do you need to buy or do you need to sell? Instead of nurturing, serving, providing value, positioning yourself as the expert, because every single person in your database is standing around the water cooler at their work talking about what? All sorts of things, but included in that will be rates, did you see that story on NBC last night about how there's, this little inventory left? And then here's what's wild to me. I get around a bunch of realtors, and you know what y'all do? Y'all complain about how much the news lies and sensationalizes things. And then I go, are you doing anything to combat that? Well, I mean, not really. It's unbelievable. There's so much opportunity here for you to be the go-to source for people. Yet you choose to do nothing except throw up a just listed, a just sold, a home tour every once in a while. And then we wonder why white noise has consumed our social, because your friends are like, ugh, there she is. Nope. This is how we overcome this stuff. And so to get us there, guys, this is my favorite slide of the whole thing, because there's so many great ways to get reviews, and very few of them are used by most people that I talk to. And so you want to jump into this first?
I'm going to jump into it. What is the happiest day in a client's life as far as a real estate agent is concerned? What's the happiest day? Oh, contract sign. Okay, so there are lots of different happy days. You have to go after that review when the smile is the widest. When you put that ring on their finger, maybe it's a signature, maybe it's the closing table, whatever it happens to be before that picture. But Kyle made a good comment about this. We need to make sure that you ask, hey, when this closes, would you be willing to leave me a positive Google business review? And of course they're going to say yes. And then you have a strategy, a systematic way of emailing them your link or sending it to them, or hey, here's a QR code. It's on my back of my business card. It's at the bottom of my email. Will you please do it? And then
Tommy, let's ask them. Does anybody mention a review before asking for a review with your clients?
One does. One.
I started doing something a little bit different where I have a graphic at the top of every one of my emails now so that they know where we are in the escrow process. And so and it's got the very last bullet point on there is give me a review.
That's awesome.
Every email I see, they see that that's going to
Okay.
So you're taking them through, you're holding their hand through the process, and the last step is you're going to leave me a good review through it.
Yeah.
Now,
Beautiful.
if I can play devil's advocate to your idea, I love your idea. My small thing I don't like is asking for the review technically before I've earned it, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to say you're not asking, right? Because verbally you're not asking. But by that little bullet point being there, I know for me personally, if I were working with John and he started sending me emails, and then even that bullet point, it would begin to rub me wrong, and I'd be going, bro, what? You haven't even done my policy yet. Why are you already asking me to tell people how great you are?
Well, I don't do it until we're under contract. So at that point,
Okay, so that's a little bit better. I just think if you were, my favorite way to do this is what's called the verbal agreement. And y'all all just said you're not doing it, so we're about to teach you something really great that's going to help you immensely. Our brains are so powerful. When we begin to understand how psychology works and neuroscience and all the way things fire, if you and I are in a transaction and I tell you, hey, guess what? We just got it. We're closing in 8 days. If in that moment I say, hey, I know this is awkward for some people, but your opinion of me on the internet is really important. It's really beneficial to me. And so after closing, would you mind just recording a quick video for me talking about how great it was working together? And then you're going to say what? Of course. I'm happy to do that. Boom, verbal agreement. We get to the closing table. Now, closings happen. Keys have been passed. Yay, Sarah, we're so excited. Hey, real quick, can we do that video that we talked about? And their first thought in their brain is going to be like,
Oh my God, what do I say?
right, I don't want to do this. But their second thought will be, I already told her that I would. And so, several details here. One, when I'm doing this, I would leave the room when they record this video. Because when do we say the nicest things about people? At their funerals. Right? You go to funerals and there will be people crying that I've been like, Mom, who is that? Why are they crying about my great-grandfather being dead? I don't even know who they are. And so we're just not good at doing it. So if this was awesome and all of a sudden I'm like, did y'all love this class today? Oh, you did? Oh, okay, cool. What was your favorite part? It's awkward because I'm here. And so if you can leave the room, they'll be way more likely to say genuine things because it's uncomfortable saying nice things to people's faces for whatever the reason. And then I would also let them do it on their device. Do not coach them. Oh, I brought a tripod. You can put your phone in the tripod. And I brought a mic and you can put my mic on. And now you've just made this so awkward for me. When you know how powerful, if we took like the oldest client you've ever worked with and they did a video review for you and they cut half of their face off while they tried to record it, that's the most powerful review I've ever seen. Because who would fake that?
No one's paying money for that.
So people are going to watch that and they're going to hear what they say while also going, is that not the sweetest disaster you've ever seen? Like, how adorable is that? You know, he cut half of her head off while they were trying to talk about how great Lisa is. And so we got to allow this to feel real. I watch realtors that they'll hire a film crew, invite their last 10 clients to come to the office, and then they'll record professional testimonials. And I just don't think they hit the way we think they hit, because the more professional something feels, the more on guard I am that it may not be what I think it is.
It's almost too polished.
It's too polished. Okay, now, hold on. If that happens, the beauty of this is I can take your video, transcribe it for $2, and now I can email you that video, and I can say, Misty, thank you so much for this video. It's unbelievable. Would you mind also leaving this for me on Google? I've already copy and pasted in what you said on the video last week. So you see how I told you it's an extra step, but it's an easy next step?
Yeah.
If I just ask you, can you also leave me a review on Google? You're not going to do that. Your first thought is, bro, I already freaking did a video for you. What more do you want from me? But if I gave you what you said, and now all you have to do is click the link and copy and paste it, I just made it easier. And the problem, guys, is this. Most of you know I was a former pastor. In Proverbs, one of my favorite verses is, where there is no vision, who knows the end of it? People will perish. Did you used to be a pastor? You're just more of a theologian than me. Where there is no vision, people will perish. And what do most people do? We just bark orders at people. We don't cast vision for why something matters. When I did the verbal agreement, did I not cast vision for why I need your help? I didn't just say, hey, this has been great. Will you do a review for me? No, I gave you vision as to why your review really matters. I don't even want to ask you to do it, but because of the power of it, that's why I do it. We're going to come to you, and then we're going to come to Mike, because you're more important than Mike.
Is there a way to link those videos to your Google My Business?
Yes. You can actually upload them to Google.
Is there a limit, like a time limit?
No, there's not.
Semi-funding. I thought they.
No, there's not. You can upload a lot of content to. I don't believe so.
So
I
you
need to
can.
verify that.
And we can even show you that.
I thought there was a limit because I have a YouTube channel
Uh-huh.
that I want to link to my Google My Business, and I was not necessarily able to.
Did you upload the video or did you upload a link of the video?
Yeah, I was told like it's not necessarily doable. Like I want people to go to my YouTube channel, obviously, so I want it
I need to verify that, but I believe you can upload videos directly into your Google Business profile.
You can, but it has to be
It's
short.
75 megabytes or less. That's in the guidelines.
Okay.
And I would still default to YouTube for that because obviously Google owns YouTube, so they don't see that as competing.
Right.
It's all going to be at the top.
Yeah, I just want a way to have that Google My Business go. So if somebody is searching, obviously they can find my videos. But I want
You should be able to have your YouTube linked to your Google My Business, right?
to go over there.
You can.
You could put events and other
Yeah,
stuff.
but the videos don't actually show on your Google.
Mike, what were you gonna add?
Which time?
Which time? I've only seen you raise your hand once.
Okay, for that was, what are your results from when you changed? Are you getting more reviews? So,
But I'm also like backing it up verbally. I'm just planting that seed from the
Yeah.
beginning, but then saying it too. I'm
But
not just relying on it. But
my
yes.
job in this is tracking to see what works,
Yeah.
not necessarily not doing it because we don't have numbers that back it up. So in my mind, what you're doing is great, but if you do a little what he does, can you triple that test?
Right.
Well, and the beauty of a team is they're really good at telling me when I'm wrong because I just assume things work, right? I'm a positive person. I'm like, oh yeah, this is crushing it. And then they're like, what's the data? I'm like, you had to bring the data into this. You can't just let me have it. But it's powerful. We really know like what works and what doesn't.
I've also found that if you send a request for a review multiple times, you're going to be more likely to actually get the review. If you do it
Sure.
just once, they're not going to do it. So,
Well, and that's why I love what Tommy said earlier, right? Is it's the start that stops most people. The reason we called this "Don't Quit on Your Marketing" is because I meet people everywhere I go. Oh, I tried video, but it just wasn't for me. Really? Tell me more about that. Well, in 2017, I did 3 videos between January and November, and I didn't make $1 million. Right, like, and that would be like me saying, yeah, you know, like the whole gym thing, like it just doesn't work for me. Like my body doesn't want to lose weight, you know? So, and you're gonna go, really, tell me more. And I'm gonna be like, well, I joined a gym. I went 3 times, and I didn't lose the weight I wanted to lose, and so I quit. And you're gonna look at me and go, bro, you're such a moron. When I get to look at you guys and say the same thing, when it comes to all the aspects of marketing that we've tried, and because it didn't happen as fast as we thought it would, we quit. And now we live the rest of our lives thinking that it doesn't work. I wish I could find out who said this quote. But years ago, somebody told me that somewhere, somebody's making millions of dollars with the idea that you said didn't work. And that eats my lunch all the time when I'm quick to go, no, I tried that. Yeah, no, I don't think that would. But when we back it up with data, I go, oh, I really only tried that 3 times. So is that really a good enough test to know if that's going to work? Like right
Well,
now.
breakfast this morning, you told us that Walt Disney got canned by Universal Studios.
That's right.
He got canned by Universal Studios because whatever happened, and then the rest is history.
So we never know.
Correct.
And so with reviews, I want us to make sure that what you said is key. This isn't just a one and done. We can't ask people one time and go, well, they didn't do it, and I don't want to be annoying, and I don't want... But we also can't just create a review email and just it goes out every 10 days, right? And so, yes, I'm asking multiple times, but I'm saying the literal same thing every time. And so we have to make sure that in all of our marketing efforts, we're casting vision for why this stuff matters. Like, when was the last time, because... You've worn a hat pretty much every day for how many years?
Oh my gosh, 12.
Okay, so I quit being a pastor 10 years ago. Thanks, bro. And so
Oh, that's yours.
if I'm not careful, the longer it's been since I've been a pastor, the less I think people care. And yet when I speak and I tell people in my intro, I'm a pastor that turned into a roofer and now I'm a social media guy, afterwards, nobody wants to talk to me about being a social media guy. People want to talk to me about, you're a pastor, really interesting. Tell me more about that. There's people that you know that don't know why you started wearing hats. Like, they don't know. They just know you're the hat lady. But there's no vision. And maybe deep down inside, they've even thought, like, I have no idea, like, why she wears hats all the time. Because the further we get from something, we stop casting the vision as for why that mattered. We've got to do a better job of this. And if we'll do this, guys, the beauty of asking for reviews is this is such an easy way to mop up repeat business and referral business. Because has anybody asked somebody for a review like 2 years after you should have asked for a review? And it's like running into somebody at Target and it's like, look, no way, Lisa, I was just thinking about you. And now we're seeing each other and now it turns into a transaction. We call that accident, karma, the universe, right? We might give credit to the Holy Spirit for that, depending on how you believe. What we're teaching is we're fabricating those accidental moments on purpose all the time. That's the power of this. I would, guys, if you've sold 80 homes in your career, I would be deploying this strategy on every single human you've ever worked with, even if it goes back to the 90s. Yes?
Okay, so let's say we have a repeat client, they've already left a Google review
Is this
maybe
mine?
a couple of years
Yes.
ago, do we ask them to leave another one? And is that
They can't. You can only leave one Google business review
Yeah.
per Gmail address.
Okay.
They can open
Now-
a Gmail account.
Correct?
But here's how we can be really creative. I could be going through old reviews, and you could find that 2-year-old review, and you could be like, oh my gosh, the Smiths. I haven't thought about the Smiths in forever. And what if you just screenshot their review, and you just sent them a DM with that screenshot, and you just said, hey, random, I was looking through my reviews today, made me think about you guys. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to want to realtor it and throw some stupid hook in there. So if you know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, right? Right, like that's what you're going to do if you're not careful. But if you would just do something simple like that and just thank them for what they said about you 2 years ago, you hope you're doing well, you hope they still love the house, that could turn into another opportunity.
Maybe you don't love the house and I'll help you sell it. Help
You
you
know,
list it.
like this is all the subtle ways of marketing ourselves that we don't want to do because we feel like it won't get a direct impact. Yes.
Okay, so if we have not done well at asking for reviews,
Yeah.
you're saying to go back to
Heck yes.
years ago?
Go back to them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
It
you
doesn't
would
make-
be
So uncomfortable.
No, well,
You have to
Here's-
get out of your comfort zone.
but it's not uncomfortable for you because I know you. You're so lighthearted and fun and willing to make fun of yourself. I would be looking those people up
Totally make fun of
and I would be reaching out to them going, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe that 10 years ago, did Google even exist 10 years ago? Like even make that joke, right? Like how old is Google even? And now you've made it totally your fault, so it doesn't feel like a ploy. I would be adding your past clients on Facebook that you had 10 years ago, but you didn't have Facebook 10 years ago. And if you can be lighthearted and fun with it, if you just act serious and you're like, hey, would you leave a review on my Google page? They're going to go, what is happening right now?
Or start with an apology. I am so sorry.
Yeah, like I've sent messages to people that I've said, how have we not been Facebook friends for 8 years? I'm so sorry. I'm going to fix that today. I just sent you a friend request. So I took all the blame. I made it fun. But if I would have just sent a random person from 8 years ago a friend request, they might not even remember who I was. So that's really, I think if you do it that way, now it's not awkward at all because you've cut through that awkwardness
Great
with
strategy.
humor.
Yeah.
So
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
So how many people here have a Google business profile? How
Mike
many
has
hands again?
his hand up.
We'll get-
Oh,
we'll
and
get
you,
Mike-
hold on.
Now-
Finish your thought.
And I was
Sorry.
going to say, how many of you have your review link in your email signature? Bingo, 1. Perfect. See, that's a freebie. We weren't planning on that one.
Nope.
So you guys got that one for free.
So
Totally
good.
for free.
Question or
what's your-
thought?
Well, my thought was to Misty. When I started our team Google page, I did exactly that. All of our
Oh,
clients,
good.
Even
Did it work?
yes, like clients that Clayton had when he started in 2016 and 14, and I started in 2015. I sent them all the link. I was like, hey, we're getting this started. Can you leave us a review? And they did it.
It's awesome. So good. Thank you for sharing that. Mike?
Do a lot of people use Facebook? Because you use Facebook to get.
I've
reviews.
heard that there's
So,
several billion people there.
what you say, if you have a Google review and you do another transaction, you can say, hey, you got me on Google, but I'm trying to build my Facebook and go back and forth.
Yep. So you could take that 2-year-old review, again, copy and paste it, put it in the email.
Well, I'm just saying, if I did one transaction and then 3
Yeah,
months
if
later
it's a
they said,
repeat
hey,
Oh, sure.
we're gonna do another transaction, and it went well.
Well, but what I'm saying is, if you can't get the review in the same place, you could use that moment to get them to go review you in another place.
Yeah, because when you do a search, they find your name, your Facebook reviews actually show up in the search function as well. So.
Right. That's why. So my favorite. Can I talk? Can I tell this part, or do
Yes.
you want to go first?
No, you go.
You can go first. if you want.
No.
So 5-ish years ago, when I became Coach Kyle, right? I started a business page, Coach Kyle Draper. How many reviews did I have? 0. This is, some of you are like, is this a trick question? I don't know how many. 0. But I already knew I was good at my job, but that doesn't feel good. And so I did this on accident. Now I teach it on purpose. I put up a post that day on Facebook that literally said this: if you know me, like me, if you used to be in my youth group, if you think I'm funny, if you love my family, would you click on my new page? And I tagged it, right? Use the @sign, start typing Coach Kyle Draper, tagged it in the post. Would you please go leave a review for me? Here's what was unbelievable. I had 20 reviews in 10 minutes. So instantly, I felt more legit. But here's what I couldn't have expected, and now I get to teach you on purpose. If you go to my page today and start reading reviews, you won't just see reviews like most realtor reviews. Misty did a great job selling our house, selling our house, selling our house, buying our... You go see my reviews, and you'll see reviews that'll say, Kyle was my favorite youth pastor I ever had. The Draper family is the greatest family I've ever met on the planet. Kyle makes social media so fun. And so many of the reviews were to the character of me, not to the outcome of me.
Okay, I was curious about that.
Sure.
So, because some of my closest friends, who are like some of my best referrers, but we've lived in our houses forever, right? So I've never helped them.
Right.
So are you saying like that would be okay for them?
Heck
to
yes.
review me, but
100%.
1,000%.
I would argue
social proof. They want to know.
Right.
People are kind of vetting you. What's her style? Does she like this? Does she drive this? That kind of stuff. They want to know what you're like internally. Your friends are going to help validate that.
And I would argue, right, we all know that we can throw a stone and hit 84 title reps, right? But I believe that she's the best one.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter, right? That doesn't matter if she just looks like everyone else, and if all her reviews are, she's a great title rep, she's a great title rep, she's a great title rep. She needs reviews that say, she turned from a title rep into one of my best friends. Like, we do life together. I love watching her parent her kids. Like, I need to know her as a human being before I'm going to trust her to do a transaction. And used to, in the 90s, we just needed a bunch of people saying, Mike's the best realtor, Mike's the best realtor, best realtor, best realtor, best realtor, best realtor, best realtor. Nobody wants the best realtor anymore. We want the most trustworthy realtor. I'd rather work with a brand new agent that can tell the story of how powerful their team is versus, well, I don't really want to talk about it because I'm new. Yeah. So talk about the power of the team versus how new you are, right? The story we tell is what transforms these opportunities for us. But most of us we don't tell any stories.
Or you lived it by yourself.
That's all we know how to say.
People want more than that. They do. Please.
Well, and another way to build your reviews too is it doesn't have to be past clients. It can be anybody. Anybody can review.
Well, that was my Facebook post. None of those people had worked with me at that point.
And past industries. You all did something before you became realtors. You were all professionals at that too.
Good point. Very good point. Please.
Well, that is something, I network a lot, and so I have a big network of other people who are in like home industry, trades, and things like that too. But even if you have the opportunity to work with them, ask them for a review on, I might not need a roof on my own house, but I can give a roof for 7 different houses, and they can talk about how I advocate for them on their behalf. And then also other realtors on the other side of the transaction. If you had an amazing transaction with another realtor, write them a review and
Yes.
say how amazing it was to be in business with that person, and then hopefully
Absolutely. And think about this. This is so wild to think about. This isn't even on a slide. We didn't even talk about this. So if y'all disagree, I apologize.
Go. This is a
Guys,
freebie.
what if we were also spending our time asking the people we interact with, where can I go leave a review for you?
Whoa.
Because what do we do, right? If you and I go to lunch and I pay today, what are you going to do the next time? Maybe not, right? You might be like, no, you're paying 2 of yours for every 1 of mine, right? But the human nature is to return the favor. You walk through 2 double doors, who wins? The person that actually held the door open first. Because then that person's going to go in, see another set of doors, and then they're going to hold the door open for you. So if you network a lot, get used to asking people like, hey, where does it help you the most to have a review? And then go leave them one that night. There's a great chance they're going to turn right back around and go leave you a review. If we were just better humans, marketing gets a lot easier. But we can't get out of being salespeople all the time. And then we wonder why this stuff doesn't work.
Repeat clients. Let's go back to repeat clients in your Google review. If you know they're a repeat client and they've already left you a review, when you send your link to them, it will reopen their review and they can edit that review. And can you imagine how powerful if you would say, hey, this is my 3rd transaction with Stacy and she's super, super wonderful, and I can't wait to do it again.
Does that pop that back up to like newest? And like
Okay, now you're asking questions I can't answer.
I mean, it makes sense that it would when something is updated.
Because you sort by latest.
It would be, I would think an edited review would be counted as a new review.
But can you imagine being able to see a stockpile? This is my 3rd transaction, this is my 4th transaction, whatever happens to be. So there's lots of ways here. We've talked about a lot of great things here.
Any other review questions? Yes.
Is there, like, does Google filter out if you all of a sudden just got a whole bunch of reviews at the same time?
Yes, but we're talking like 50 to 100 at once.
Okay.
So I wouldn't, depending on the size of your database, you're not going to get, 20% of your people are going to leave you reviews all at the same time. But so certainly you don't want to get 1,000 reviews in a day or 100 reviews in a day. So you definitely I would drip that kind of thing out. But
So
I don't.
like message your whole database all at once.
So, like, if you do that Facebook post and
Well, but that's
somehow miraculously get
That's Facebook. Google,
that's specific to Facebook, so it's not the same. Facebook's not regulating that.
Because what's happening is Google, a lot of people will go onto a Google. If somebody, that corner deli over there served somebody that had red hair and all the green hair people get all upset, then they all dogpile and say, well, we don't like red-haired people. And so Google will modulate too many positive reviews and too many negative reviews all at the same time.
And also what you just said, so on all social platforms, but Facebook specifically, Facebook hates when we use external links in our posts. So this is why we'll notice if I post a post and I attach a Zillow.com link, a Homes.com link, a link to the MLS, YouTube, it'll kill your algorithm because Facebook doesn't want people leaving Facebook, right? So I wouldn't use Facebook to ask for Google reviews. I would use Messenger in that scenario, where you can DM people individually and say what Misty and I talked about of like, I can't believe it's been 4 years and I didn't ask you for this already, but oh my gosh, does your opinion on the internet of me really matter? I'd use DM for that because it's more personable and it'll work more powerfully.
You know what I would do also?
What?
Why don't you pick up your phone and create an iMessage and create a little video? Hey, Stacy, I know it's been a long time.
Video's dead. Didn't we just talk about that?
Hey, it's been a long time since we've seen each other. Just saw a Google review. Would you leave me a review? Send it, because they're going to watch that video. 100% they're going to watch it. Then put your Google link after it. Paste the Google link in there.
The other cool thing about me working with you guys is when we send out requests for reviews through the system, it has a kind of, well, there might be an official name for it. I would call it like Kyle protection. So that if somebody were to use that opportunity to 1-star me, the system catches it before it actually asks them to leave that on Google. Isn't that right?
Yes.
So when we send out requests for Google reviews through the system, if they say less than 4 stars, because the first thing is how many stars do you give Kyle? If they hit and it says less than 3, it just says, I think it just pops up like thank you.
Well, it pops up a little message. Sorry, we didn't hit the mark. What could we have done better? So gives them an opportunity to vent without venting publicly.
If it's a 4 and up, it goes to a different page that's actually the Google review page. So it gives me that buffer in case I didn't hit the ball out of the park for everybody, which I really like.
Well, what else is it doing?
I don't know. That's what you do.
Second try to hit the ball out of the park.
Is that a program?
Yes.
It's through their system that he'll tell you a little bit about in a little bit.
But then you could fix that problem, and a lot of times I've seen when we fix the problem, then you get the 5-star reviews saying they fixed the problem or they took it so serious in doing it.
It's where it's get powerful, right? Thoughts, questions before we keep going?
What a great,
Okay.
lively conversation. Holy cow, this is a great crowd here in Texas. Please.
So is every outside link hurt your algorithm? Every, no matter what it's, even if it's just going to a landing page or whatever, they all hurt. What if you put
Yep.
it in comments?
You know, I would argue that's less bad, but it's still like, my problem is, because I agree, like where I feel you right now, I feel the same struggle. Even in the comments, it seems weird to me to think that Facebook's so stupid and the billions of dollars they've invested into their algorithm, it can't see the comments, so let's put our link there. Like it just feels dumb.
But we've tracked
But
it and we know
we've noticed a difference. It does work better.
Because I would hate to not do it. You know, because usually, I mean, our clients do want to see that. And they send us messages back that like, oh, that one looks great. Or one
Well,
house. And it's just to our landing page. But I don't
right.
want to hurt our
So it's,
system by
you know,
doing that.
this could be a whole different conversation.
Sorry.
But no, it's fine. No, it's a great. We're here to serve you guys, so we want to have the conversations that you want to have. I could make the argument that you could be more intriguing if you put 3 pictures of the property on Facebook, and then you say DM me for the all of it, and that's more intriguing than, because in that moment, like.
It's just like an afterthought, so they can click on it if they want it. But that's not my
Sure.
choice. It's just like at the bottom of my post.
Well,
I'll
hurt
put
is
it.
also, I mean, hurt is a big word.
Yeah.
I mean, and hurt on the algorithm. Facebook doesn't like it, but they're not, I don't know if it's a huge penalty. I mean, hurt is a big word.
What were you saying?
If you're getting like responses and stuff, obviously Facebook is going to bump it up, but
Yeah, and The Rock.
That's true. The more engagement,
The
the
Rock
better.
could post a link in his post, and he's gonna beat it because he's The Rock. No. Of course, yeah. Neither am I. So,
when you go on to another social media platform, it really doesn't like it.
well, but let's talk about, before y'all talk. Let's talk about this for a second. We're so guilty of using stranger tactics on our people, and so I would coach you guys. Why do we need our Facebook friends to go to our landing page because they're already our Facebook friend? I'd rather you slide into my DMs as a human being than feel sold to by me pushing a landing page at you. I'd be using a landing page link in an email campaign, like in a place where people may not know you as well. They're going to feel more comfortable on a landing page, but your neighbor is going to see those photos. They could be interested in that house, and they're probably not going to click the landing page because your relationship is different. And so I think sometimes we need to really ask ourselves, like, is what I'm about to push out there, does it feel like it's better for a stranger versus my friends? Because I think we mess up those tactics, and that's why we struggle to get what we want.
And are you serious about it being pictures and not video?
No, it could be any. It could be, but even in a video of a house, leave me wanting more.
Yeah.
Like, don't do an 8-minute video. I don't need to see all 3 bathrooms.
No.
Like, keep it short, sexy, fast,
Tickler.
fun.
Oh, sexy.
Teaser.
You said we didn't have to be sexy.
Well, you know, it's all, you know, that's a loose word, right? So
It better be.
just leave us wanting more.
Does that go the same for like professional videos that we do before that we put on?
No, to me, that's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
right? If you're bringing in an expert, now I would still ask them, could you create me a teaser video of the property?
Yeah.
And that's what I would push the most. But you should definitely be putting an 8-minute video tour that's really well done on your YouTube channel,
Yep.
right? Because you want people to see it and go, dang, that's incredible. I want her to do that for my house. But on social media, but again, that comes back to that 8-minute video is great for strangers on YouTube.
Yep.
That 8-minute video isn't good for our friends on Facebook. Right? Mike, were you?
Could you go into, like, when we were doing videos and stuff, and say you post a house on Facebook, or you put 3 pictures, and you see, like, when we were doing videos, we were trying to see what got the most traction. So we would do a Facebook Live, we would do a video, and if it wouldn't get traction, we'd start tagging people in the comments to try to get it, because anytime someone would comment on it, it brings it back up to the top of your Facebook feed. So if you're doing that kind of stuff, and say, you know, you did a 30-second sneak peek video and you see you only got 15 things, you could tag a member of your team. Like, I would tag the owner of the house. You could tag lenders you use to try to get your views up.
Yeah.
So that kind of counter does what putting the link in there does. So I would use a video, you know, even if it's a short video, because then you can see what you got, and you can increase the longevity of the comments through the comments in Facebook.
Okay.
And there was a comment over here.
And I don't know if that was
on,
when you said you must do a lot on Facebook. And we
No,
weren't.
we do both, but, and just like, you know, and we're not just putting out there, like, you know, coming soon, and so, and we don't do like, we closed or anything like that, but we do coming soon, we do like little silly things or put videos out there, but then once it's live, I do put the landing page so people can see the detailed information, but I link it in the bottom.
I would just tell you to test, right? Like, if you've done 10 in a row that way, I would do your next 5 without a link at all, and just be a little bit more intentional about saying, like, you know, and just see if it's better, right? Because again, this is why I like my team, because now I just gave you a data idea.
Yeah.
I hate data, right? I only know to give you that idea because they make me think more about data. Because we can, and I'm so guilty of this, I'm so guilty of being like, no, you're wrong, you shouldn't do it that way. And then what did Mike say? Do you have data of how many people click the, right? And because it's all about what do we actually know versus what are we just doing because somebody told us to do it, and there could be a greater solution. So we really don't know what works until both ways have been tested.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know when we make full of ourselves, those are our best.
Oh, of course. They're always going to be the best. Right, so,
I'm like, 3,000 people watch that.
well, so I would be asking, how can I make a fool of myself in and in front of the houses I'm selling? Right? How can we passively get the house in front of people while being creative with our content? That's the key, in my opinion. And people pay attention more that way. So let's talk about the flow of this. Do we all have a CRM? Does everybody have a CRM? Who actually uses the CRM that they have? So like a third of the room.
It's a safe place.
Right? Yeah,
It is
yeah.
a
This
safe
is
place.
a
And
very
your
safe
CRM
place.
could be an Excel spreadsheet. Some people use index cards as their CRM.
And our goal today is not to sell you the CRM that they use.
No.
Right? Okay, so most of us would say we have a CRM, but the big question is, have we centralized our contacts there? Right? Do we have as many people as possible in that one place? Or, well, you know, like past clients are in our CRM, but like my Facebook friends aren't in our CRM. When why not? Right? We want their data in the place that we own so that if Facebook ever goes away or something happens, they can't take that from us. So that would be my number one strategy leaving this room today is start regularly posting and just saying, hey guys, we're doing a really cool newsletter now. Actually, I just avoid the word newsletter because it's not a cool word. So I would go see like what does Gary Vee call his newsletter and maybe call it that. Because I don't think he calls it a newsletter.
He does not.
So go get your people to start giving you their email so that you can have that data. Run a contest We're just literally, all they got to do is give you their email and somebody's going to win, right? Like you don't have to attach houses to that, right? You're just building a new database. And now,
Christmas, you can totally ask people for their information.
gosh, how is it already almost Christmas? That's great.
Stop it.
We're going to send out a digital Christmas card this year. If you want to be on it, please put your email in the comments or DM me your email. They won't know if you sent physical ones too, and they didn't make it on that list. Yeah.
Gary Vee calls it a newsletter.
Oh, he does.
Because newsletters are not dead and you can make money off of them.
No, we agree on that. I just don't love the word newsletter because...
Digital digest.
A digital digest. He does call it a newsletter?
He does. Sign up.
What does Alex Hermosi call it?
Well, you said Gary Vee. Why would you change the rules?
Because he disagrees with me, so I need to find somebody that agrees with me while we're in front of all these people.
What about Chelsea?
Yeah, Chelsea Pites?
There you go.
Yeah.
What about her?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go look at
Glenda
what hers...
Baker, she doesn't call it a newsletter.
It was her... So...
Glenda calls it a newsletter.
I know.
Son of a...
See?
All right, let's just default it to newsletter, I guess.
The
Right? Let's
fact
not
you want to
overthink
be
it.
talking to your audience, how it's called makes no difference. You
True.
need to talk to your audience.
See, I knew when you said that line, I thought you said that too soon. And I wasn't sure what slide it was on,
I
but here it
apologize.
is.
I apologize. We need to
Here
give
it
them their
is.
money back.
Okay?
They came all this way. Now they can get a refund.
So once we have our CRM, we begin to centralize our contacts. Guys, all of this rises and falls on your ability to create content. It rises and falls on it. Because the beauty of our relationship is they have access to every video I've ever done. And so Mike will text me and be like, bro, why aren't we doing an email about this video? Because there's a video from 3 years ago. I don't remember that video. But we have access to all this stuff. It's the beauty of just living in content creation. You are the content. You're the content. We have to overcome this. We have to get comfortable in front of the camera because, guys, I'm not kidding you. We are years away from somebody going, oh, hey, Missy, I don't really want y'all to come to my house to talk about a listing. We got the new Zippy-Doo, and they'll just toss it on their coffee table, and you'll be able to pop up on video virtual, and your full body will be standing in their living room. And are you going to still be the realtor that's like, I'm not doing video, I want to be belly to belly?
There was a conference that we recently went to. They had a robot with your face.
There it is. Guys, it's only getting weirder. It's only getting weirder. And so we can embrace the weird, or you can be the realtor that already has a ticking clock to the end of your career. Because what have we all been hearing? AI's coming for our jobs. AI's not coming for your job.
No.
But the realtor that uses AI is going to crush you. We've got to get better at this stuff. And we still have time. And so you have to become content machines. Think about this. Why are every single one of you not hosting a virtual home buyer seminar every month?
I like to do it in person.
I know, right? But if you were doing this every month, it doesn't matter if 0 people show up. I get to record an hour-long virtual presentation that now can live where?
On the internet.
And then from that 60-minute presentation, I can do what with it?
Cut it down for social media.
And we're sitting around here going, this is so hard. I don't know what to do. If we were just making a 60-minute video a month,
You could also
presenting.
do a seller seminar.
You can have a seller seminar.
How many of you guys have been at an open house by yourself? No one showed up. You have instant content. You have your phone. You have beautiful fireplace, a beautiful sink, whatever happens to be. You could walk around there and you could make 5, 10, 15 little pieces of content on that property. You don't even have to say I'm at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. You can say, hey, look at this woodwork. Da-da-da-da-da. I know a little bit about it. You just need to share your knowledge. Maybe you just have blueprints of the house. Hey, here's the blueprints of this property. Look at how this turned out. Here's the room. Here's the blueprint, that kind of thing. People are dying for content from you because you are such the knowledge person of your neighborhood, of your farm. You know what they want. You just got to get it out of your head, into your phone, and onto YouTube.
So let's dig deeper into this, into the
Okay.
psychology
How
of this.
deep we going?
Yes.
So when we post this stuff, Facebook, whatever, should it be on our personal, or do we put it on a business one and push that to our personal?
Great question. You're not going to do that. Here's the way I would do it. You need to make that two. When we're talking about Facebook, guys on Insta, before I officially answer the question, if you have 2 Instagrams, get rid of one of them. I mean, unless you're a team, y'all have individual ones and there's a team one, that's different. But if you are a solo realtor, but you have a business Instagram and a personal Instagram, can one. You don't need 2. Instagram wants to see the full you from Instagram.
Right.
So they want to see Jill the realtor, Jill the mom, Jill doing 75 hard, Jill's husband playing volleyball. Like, I know all these things about Jill because we're friends on Instagram, and she actually posts real life content. It's not just bought, sold, contract, picture, toes in the sand, working from the beach. She's a real human being. So do it. Yes.
So turn that into a business page and make sure that you're compliant.
Yes.
With
Absolutely.
your forms.
100%.
Turn it into a business.
How do you do that? I don't know. That's her job. So she'll tell you all about that. Right? But now,
Yeah, so that you can get the metrics, the data.
so
and the-
back to what
Correct,
you
correct,
originally
correct.
said, okay?
You want to be compliant just based on the fact that you're.
Absolutely.
So that's just, I just want to make sure that you.
Yes. Thank you for saying that.
Keep compliant.
And make
Now,
sure you consult
on,
your broker so you get
on
yourself out of
Facebook
trouble.
specifically, when we post on a business page and share it to our personal page, Facebook doesn't like that. Because the way they see it is we're trying to get for free what they want us to pay for. They make billions of dollars on business pages. That's why Mark Zuckerberg is as rich as he is. From us boosting posts, running ads. And so that's why you could post a picture with one of your kids and that gets 300 likes. And then you share a post from your business page to your personal page and it gets 1. It's not because your friends hate you. It's because Facebook's literally not letting them see that post. So what I recommend, post that post on your business page, use professional language, upload the same post to your personal page, change the language to feel more personable for your friends. So on the business page, 4 bed, 2.5 baths, sits on 0.57 acres. It can be like that, but don't say that on your personal page because that's not how you would tell your girlfriend at Starbucks about that listing. You're going to talk about, girl, have you seen? You got to see the patio of
That's
this,
right.
of
Look at
this
this
house.
kitchen. This is the bomb.
So does that make sense? Okay.
Is there a way to, because on your business page, you can pre-post.
Schedule.
Is there
You
a
cannot schedule on your personal page. Not without external tools.
I think
And the
that's-
algorithm
I think
knows
that's
about
the-
the external
yeah.
tools too.
But I think that's the thing, to be able to kind of schedule some of these.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of scheduling all of your content. If you need to schedule some, that's fine. You also don't need to be spending very much time on your business page on Facebook. I'd post a couple times a week on your business page, but 90% of your energy should go to your personal page because that's where your people are. The problem many of you have is you've been so used to selling all the time, you can't quite see how this is going to work. So you've got to understand that if you bring the nurture into this and educate through real estate instead of sell real estate all the time, your people aren't annoyed by your real estate content. They're annoyed by how often you sell. And so that's what we've got to begin to do different.
If we're gonna go from business page on your Facebook, you have to change the post to be compliant. So if you're putting a listing on your personal page, you should have your company logo either on, so that should be branded, the photo should be branded so you're recognizing your broker, or in your name or in the description should be branded.
Can't you put it as a hashtag? I heard you could put it as a
Correct, you
hashtag.
have to identify them. I see tons of times where real
Make sure
estate
you talk to
agents-
your broker. Your mileage may vary, but
Yeah, don't
what we
say, "This Coach
what
Kyle
we say
guy
has
told me."
nothing to do. It's your broker
I will-
owns the relationship.
I will not
But
take,
Kyle
I will call you a
Draper
liar
said-
to your face.
Hashtag or your,
That's right.
compliant with
I don't know what church you go
Yeah,
to,
ladies,
but
this
we
is
don't
my
lie at my church.
simplest one, and watermark on all my photos, so my company logo is on there, so I couldn't get in trouble.
And every state's different. I've always been told by anybody in Texas that as long as we have our brokerage identified and our about of our personal page that were good. Some agents I'll see put the, they'll just pin the post of the, whatever they'll just pin that to the top. And I've never seen anybody have problems with it.
Back row, please, sir.
So this going back 5 minutes ago, you're talking about nobody shows up to your open house, make a video, right?
Yes.
So I think a lot of this is perspective and seeing the positive and the negative. Last week I locked myself out of my office, right? Like, I'm an insurance guy. I'm supposed to be mindful of everything that could happen. and so I made my post about, hey, I got to get a great cup of coffee, right? Because I had to wait for the building manager to get in so that I could get my spare office key to get into my office. And it had 60 interactions and 13
So
comments,
good.
right? And
Yeah.
so a lot of that is these things that we feel like are kicking the teeth, is taking that and framing it into a different perspective where, hey, what is the silver lining? Just about everything has a silver lining. I think a video is like, holy cow, this is a great house. I can't believe nobody stopped by. Let me take you on a tour of it. Is a great way to show people how positive you are. People like working with positive
People want a personable person. They want you know you're human, you make mistakes, you're going to goof up, you locked yourself out of your office, you made fun of it, and people got some serious engagement off of that, which is huge. And that's what you want. You want that engagement. Did you have a comment, sir?
No, I was just scratching my head.
Oh, okay.
He was wondering why I was speaking. He's like,
I was trying.
Kyle's looking for
I was
something
trying to
natural.
find a video to show you
The
guys.
one where you ripped the handle off your car?
No,
But people went
that
crazy
was a
for
good
that.
one.
It was. We came all
Oh, it was this one.
to see it.
That's
So
right.
guys,
What's up, Emily? It was so great.
I recorded this video to a potential client
Excited to hear more about
while feeding my baby.
Never known anybody at Mr. Cooper, so
And her response, she works for Mr. Cooper, which is one of the largest mortgage companies on the planet.
before I jump back into work.
And she's super high up. I met her at an event I spoke at last week. I sent her that video. Her first thing she said back was, I can't believe you said my name. We live in a world where we just assume that's not really Misty. So when I say your name, I get big brownie points, right, when we're doing this stuff. And then I humanize myself by letting her see sweet baby Ruby, and that I'm still able to get business done while also being a great dad. Most realtors I know would be like, well, that feels unprofessional. I don't think I could do that. I mean, I'm not taking a baby to a showing. That's slightly different.
Some agents have.
But it's all been done before, right? But there's so many opportunities. I also, the other day, I was teaching a group of realtors from Nebraska. And one of the realtors goes, Kyle, I hate doing video. I did a video the other day. A lead came in through our website. I was at the pool with our boys. And so I went ahead and shot a video at the pool. I'm sweating. The kids are splashing in the background. And she was like, they responded right back to me, but I just don't. And I stopped her and I went, did you hear what you just said? You hate doing video, but they responded right back to you?
Yep.
But if I wouldn't have said anything, she would have ended that conversation negative. Because she doesn't like the video when the outcome was exactly what she wanted. This is the headspace that we're all in that frustrates us with this stuff. And so as we wrap this up, and we can do some more Q&A until 2 o'clock or past 2 o'clock. We don't have anywhere to go.
Before I just want to say one thing.
Okay.
Last year, for the last 5 years, I've made it a habit that every Thanksgiving, I'll sit down in my home office when the kids are waking up, and I'll just do videos to my past clients and friends. Just say I'm thankful for you. There's not 1 year I didn't get 100% people responding to it. So think about that. Think about how, granted that's a special day, should be a special day, but just taking time to give thanks. 10, 15 seconds, send. 10, 15 seconds, send. And every one of them responded back.
And that's the difference between doing what's easy and doing what works. We love to do what's easy, right? Well, I sent a Thanksgiving newsletter out to 1,500 people versus I sent 10 videos by name to people on Thanksgiving Day. Those 10 are going to provide you way more back in value than the 1,500 that you sent the random Happy Thanksgiving newsletter to.
Before video, 2006.
When was that? I don't even remember that world.
Polaroid.
Overseas, was getting back. I was a commercial banker before this. Was getting back in my community, and I took donuts and coffee to a CPA firm to get commercial referrals. And I walked in like, hey, I got you donuts and coffee. And they're like, great, put it on the table with all the other ones. It's like this mountain of tribute, right? So I was like, well, that's not going to work. So I went out, I got 6 packs and pretzels. I'm like, hey man, when tax season's over, let's crack a beer. Let's talk about the lending needs of your clients. And we got calls like crazy, and we wrote a bunch of business off of it. But I'm like, dude, you've got to find a way to differentiate, or you're just going to get crushed in that.
It's powerful.
Keyword,
I love that.
differentiate yourself, because you're going to be top of mind. And 6 packs and pretzels, a video, whatever it takes to be different.
Babies in bottles. That's what I do.
Nothing wrong with
You
it.
gotta work with what you got. Right?
That's exactly right. Hey, and if Ruby's there.
What about beer? What about beers and babies?
Beers.
Is that?
1970.
So I want to make sure as we wrap this up, none of this matters if you don't have the right partner. Right? None of this matters. What I love about Tommy and Mike is they'll be the first to tell you if what you're already doing works, they don't need you to talk to them.
Nope.
Right? They're not trying to talk you out of something that's good to get into something else that's great. We want you to operate inside of your system. But for those of you that now have your eyes open to like, holy crap, there's so much opportunity in front of me that I'm taking zero advantage of, I want you selfishly to have a conversation with them because what they're doing for me works. It works. I'm already making money, which is ultimately, right, the game changer is, does it make you money? It's cool if it works, but we can't really quantify if it works. And so as we wrap this up, I'd love to be connected with all of you guys on social. I'm Coach Kyle Draper on social media. I'm not hard to find. I'm there every day. If you don't want to follow me, that's fine. You don't have to. But here's why I recommend it. Because most of you suck at what I'm really good at.
Wow.
Right?
Came all this way for that.
I mean, let's call it what it is. There's a reason why you hate for sub owners, because they're trying to do what they're not the expert of. So if you want to get better at this stuff, you need to come alongside people that are better at it than you are. That's me. That's also tons of other people, but you're not in a room with them today. You're in a room with me. And so tap into the knowledge that I already put out there free of charge for you guys. And then also, and if you guys aren't using QR codes in your marketing, you need to be, because the QR code on the left, Tommy is willing to give you, how much time are they signing up for?
They're signing up for,
how long is it?
You get 30 seconds immediately, but up to 30 minutes. Up
right,
to 30 minutes.
So Tommy is giving
just
you
to listen. Just
a
to listen.
30-minute one-on-one
I'm a listener.
to allow
I just
you
wanna
to
listen.
walk him through what you're currently doing, and then he'll jump in and help you make it better. This is why we're here. They flew all the way down from Wisconsin to be here with me to create value for you guys. So take advantage of what is available to you. And so please, please, please schedule time with Tommy. You will not leave that time feeling like you regretted it. And then, I didn't tell y'all this earlier, but I own a company that takes long-form content and turns it into short-form content. That's what my company does. We have 17 employees. We're really good at what we do. And so if you want to talk about that, we can talk about it. My QR code will get you free resources from me. It'll get you on my newsletter. I guess that's what we're calling it now.
Digital digest.
The Draper
Oh,
paper.
Paper.
Come on.
Because I thought it was going to be the Misty
You
but-
get a book.
The Draper
You
paper,
get a book.
That's awesome. That's top notch.
Okay? But here's my final thing that I want to say. I watch too many realtors show up to classes and then just leave. You're going to apply nothing. So when we finish, sign up for what's available to you that costs you nothing, and then stick around and ask questions. Be engaged.
You even call it a newsletter on your...
Oh, I know. I didn't say that. I just said I hate that word.
Sizzle.
So
Sizzle.
I know.
You get $20.
Oh my gosh. Look at this. We're just We're just passing cash out. I love it. So,
Crazy.
Next round of drinks on Misty.
so here's what we're gonna do,
I got to spin the wheel.
and that's to give. Is that to give everything away?
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
only
yeah.
giving 2 because the Draper paper, gets a book for free.
That's right.
That's great.
I count 18 and I only have 17 names. Did somebody
Should I
not
stop the
scan
video?
to do that?
Or keep it going.
Yeah, you can stop it. That's probably fine.
Okay, well.
I also brought things to sign the books if you'd like me to sign it,
Yes.
but I won't be.